What's going on? I'm Marcus. You're the channel, The Debt Free Dad, where it's finances, financial takes, topics, attorney reactions, current events. There's a little bit of everything, but it's always tied around the money. This video is kind of an interesting one to me because it was two things that I took away from this. But we're going to play a video about someone who got finessed. I don't really know if it's a finesse or not, but it's like scamming season is in full effect, and I think scamming season oftentimes picks up as the weather get warmer. If you're in more warm places, because when you're cold outside, a lot of times, like statistically, crime decreases significantly when it's wintertime in places where it gets cold as hell. But once the sun come out, once that 60, 70-degree weather hit, all the criminals and the low lifes and the scammers are out and about. So we're gonna talk about. I don't even know if this was a scam. Like sometimes some scams people fall for. I got to put a lot of the accountability on you or the victim, even though I know, hey, it's terrible that the victim got. But damn, sometimes it's just stupid. like sometimes things that people fall for, like, yo, you got to eat 80, 90% of that because that was just dumb. So we're going to talk about it. Let me go ahead, play this clip so we can see it. Then I'm going to give a quick recap of what's going on, give my take on it, let y'all know what's popping. Hey, what's going on, sis? I appreciate you tuning in. Let's make sure we got this volume right so y'all can hear. It's a real quick clip.
If y'all coming to Miami, do not give no guy, since y'all want to remove my sound, don't give no guy y'all phone to put their number in because this guy just cashed up his stuff $1,000. Went on my sister's phone, act like he was putting his number in, and sends up a whole $1,000. So y'all blow his stuff up and tell him to send my sister her baby.
All right, that was a real short clip. I ain't want to go in all the music and all the extracurricular stuff. But long story short, I'm gonna recap what this sister said. Her and her sister are in Miami. They out there, they having a good time, living it up, doing whatever. And her sister met a guy, and the guy was like, "Oh, let me put my number in your phone." So she hands. I got so many damn phones around here. I got way too many phones. She sister hands the guy the phone, and she thinks that this guy's putting her number in, but what he's really doing is going into her Cash App account and transferring $1,000 from her account to his account. And I don't even know if the dude ever put his number in or not. That's hilarious, but that's crazy. If I had to apportion, if I had to apportion a percentage of fault here, yo, hey, sorry, hey, it's terrible that you got, but I'm gonna put 90% of this on y'all. That was just stupid. I've been in situations. I would actually rather lose my wallet than to lose my cell phone unlocked or hand it to a stranger unlocked. Just think about it. Like your wallet, you got 3 or 4 cards in their driver's license. If someone has your unlocked cell phone, you are royally screwed. You're royally screwed. But I've been in a situation. I've been in a situation where, yeah, I know that's stupid. But I've been in a situation where somebody was like, "Yo, can I use your phone to call somebody?" Most times I'm like, nah, bro, you got like we grown. If you ain't got a phone, you got. But every now and then, I feel a little sympathetic to their calls, and you know what I do? I put it on speaker. And like, what's the number? Like, nah, you're not about to get me. You're not gonna try to take off with my phone, which is a phone is the stupidest thing in the world. Still, you'll be amazed at how many people I defended and or prosecuted who them taking a phone was the stupidest thing that they could ever do. But I thought that was really corny. I thought that was crazy. I mean, I'm just be honest. I wouldn't want to, I don't know. Back in my day, you give me your number. I don't want you to have my number. I wouldn't want you calling me. I call you. But this dude finessed her. But to her credit, and her name isn't out there, but to her credit, I have to give her credit because, hey, statistically, 50%, 57% of the population do not have $1,000 to cover an emergency. She clearly had $1,000. So fiscal responsibility may not be her issue. It must be general common sense. General common sense might be the overall issue that's going on here. And that's the exact same thing. A lot of people said, "Oh, well, she doesn't have a pin on her Cash App or something that she can use like that." But you can set it up to have a pin or to not have a pin. Because I think my Cash App, right before I make the transfer, I got to put like my fingerprint or something in there so it can go through. But the other thing is like, okay, you don't got a pin on your Cash App. I got that. But like, I don't know. I would like to think that it would take significantly longer to go to Cash App, do a transfer, do all of those things than it would just to put a, you know, 10-digit phone number in. I don't know. And does a Cash App make like a sound once the payment go through? Should it go like cha-ching or something like that? I feel like that's I feel like that's a little crazy, but hey, people aren't thinking. She probably like I could see if the inverse was true. Like that's what makes this story wild. Like if that happened to a guy in Miami, I'd be like, oh, I get it. Because I just think that I don't know. I feel like that's something that's actually more likely to happen to a guy. If this was a guy, I would be like, oh man, that makes sense. I could see some guy falling for that. You in Miami, you see something you like, hey, go ahead, girl. Next thing you know, yeah, $1,000. That may be all the money you had. And trust me, I remember when I was younger going to Miami uh on them broke trips, and that shit was not fun. But I think that's crazy that that happened to her. I think most of it is her fault. The funny thing is, I actually took a look at the comments, and the comments were interesting because you see comments, it would be like "City girls out here losing." So I thought the comments were actually hilarious, but it's stupid because a lot of people saw this and was like, "Oh man, that's a good idea." This is not a good idea. I know when you look at it on his face, you think, "Oh man, he got him." It's just theft. This this is a lot worse than a felony theft. Most places, if it's like an amount of $1,000 or more, or whatever, it'll go from a misdemeanor to a felony. But it's a way more serious charge. And I mean, you would just have to be the guy who did it was just stupid as well. Let's keep it real. The guy who did it was stupid because if I cash app you, don't you have all my contact information? I mean, how hard is it to if you got the person's cash app, you probably got their email address, you can get their phone number from the company. I mean, that's just everybody involved in this was stupid. Okay. I think I think everybody who was involved in this nonsense were stupid because the information is just so readily available. Hey, I appreciate you stopping through. I appreciate it. It's stupid for everybody. It's probably more stupid for the victim than the person who did it because you just opened the door. Yeah. It's a real felony too. It's not just a felony theft. This is wire fraud. I mean, and wire fraud, depending on the facts and circumstances, you could get maxed out at 20 to 30 years for wire fraud. All wire fraud is using electronic means of communication, telephone, the internet to commit fraud. And if there's a financial institution involved, which is one financial institution going to from a person's bank to another person's bank through an intermediary, oh man, they're gonna throw your ass in jail. I don't know. I wouldn't max them out though. I would give them some credit for creativity. But this was utterly stupid. We got to keep our head on the swivel and be cautious of our surroundings. I actually was doing some research because I think I wanted to do a video, and y'all let me know if y'all ever heard of this. Are y'all familiar with like sovereign citizens? Have you all ever heard the phrase sovereign citizens? I think I wanted to do a video on sovereign citizens because I've just been kind of doing some research because one is crazy as hell. But I did some research and there are millions of people. I'm gonna say millions of people throughout the United States who are on social media who believe that you can pay for your bills with your social security card, with your social security card, or you can use the invoice that they send you for your bill, where you can use that to actually pay for your bills because your bills are already prepaid through some government fund. People crazy as hell. I don't know, man. Like people crazy as hell. Hey, oh, cracking the code, man. That code, that shit, it's some BS. Okay, I'm gonna give y'all the short story because that's a whole nother video. Because I want to find some interesting clips of sovereign citizen fails. But I give y'all this story, and I'll probably repeat it when I do the video. Okay, after I graduated and I passed the bar exam, I was real happy, and I got my very first job as a public defender. And I had no clue what I was doing, and they had no training program whatsoever. So what they did was they just handed me a big ass stack of cases and said, "These are your cases. Court starts in 30 minutes." So I go in there and I'm sitting there, eyes glazed over. I don't know what the hell I'm doing. So I was like, "Oh well, when in doubt, I'm gonna just continue everything to give me a month to think about it." My third day on the job, okay, I meet this guy, and nobody ever comes see their attorney until shit gets real, till things get real. So I meet this guy. I was like, "Hey, I'm gonna continue your case so we can have a chance to rap, talk about what's going on, or what have you." I lie to you not. When this dude came into my office, I asked him, I was like, "Hey, how's it going, Mr. Jackson," or whatever his name was. He was like, "Mr. Jackson isn't my name. Mr. Jackson is the name of my straw man." I was like, "Okay, the name of your straw man, duly noted." Now, straw man is actually a term used in the legal sense too. When you're talking about contracts and obligations, it essentially is like a third party to act on behalf of someone else. If I get an agent to negotiate something for me, he's acting as my straw man, so to speak. But these sovereign citizens are of the belief that the laws of various states and the federal government don't apply to them. And so a lot of times they make these arguments in court. Now I remember this like it was yesterday because this guy wasn't there for like driving while license revoked. This was like a real serious charge, like trafficking, right? And so his argument to me was, "Hey, these laws don't apply according to the uh, United States Code 15." I mean, they just start shouting out all these numbers and all these things that don't got anything to do with nothing. But he was adamant that the laws didn't apply to him. And so I was like, "Okay." So I'm looking at his file. "Okay, these laws don't apply to you, right?" I was like, "And you were trafficking narcotics." I can't even remember what it was, but it was some serious stuff. I was like, "Okay, if the laws don't apply to you, when you got stopped by the cops and they asked you questions, why didn't you just tell them you was trafficking drugs and it was in the trunk? Why did you feel the need to hide everything and wait till the dogs come before it gave them probable cause to go?" Because if the laws don't apply to you, you wouldn't be scared to tell them that you was trafficking heroin or dope or whatever the hell you had in your car, right? I mean, but these guys, sovereign citizens, they don't think the laws apply to them. So a lot of times they go into court with these crazy arguments. I've never in my life seen one work. And you talking to somebody who spent 4 years in court Monday through Friday dealing with clients consecutively. Literally almost never had a work day off where I wasn't in court doing some type of argument on a motion or a jury trial or something. I've never seen these arguments work. But then when I did some research, there's this belief that your social security card can be used as a line of credit to pay your bills. Whatever you do, don't Google it. Because if you Google it, you're going to be like, "This is crazy." But it's a belief that they have that your social security card can be used to satisfy your debt obligation because your social security card is linked to a trust account maintained by the United States government. The other belief that they have is that you can use the receipt from, how when you get your bills and they'll give you the pay statement and you can write the amount you owe in and put that in and mail it. The other belief is that you can use that to satisfy your obligations as well. And they base off of all of this off of some language in the Uniform Commercial Code. What the hell is the Uniform Commercial Code? That's essentially the manual that's used to dictate the transactions of goods or anything sold by a merchant. So if I bought a car from Tom, that contract that we have doesn't apply to the Uniform Commercial Code because it doesn't apply to it because he's not a merchant and he doesn't normally engage in the selling of goods. But if I buy a car from a dealership, it's a merchant transaction who normally deals in the selling of those goods. All of those contract terms are governed by this Uniform Commercial Code. And it's a thick ass book, but it's crazy. I was doing some research because I was like, okay, I'm gonna just get y'all the short and nasty of it. Is a scam like hell. I've seen a bunch of videos. I have seen one video where a guy actually got his case dismissed, but it wasn't for none of the dumbass reasons that he argued in court. It was because the creditor didn't have the documents to prove that he was the person obligated to satisfy the amount owed. But we got to keep our head on the swivel. Oh, the crazy thing is, there's people out here charging like $5,000, $30,000 for these courses. And when I was on one guy's channel looking at it, and I read one of the comments, and the comments was like, "Hey, can you break it down? I've been trying to do this for 5 years." Like, if you've been trying to finesse your way out of a debt for 5 years using your social security number, you could have just took that time and effort to get a part-time job and pay the goddamn stuff off. But we got to keep our head on the swivel. That's a video I'm gonna do at a later date. Hey, your cell phone is more important than your wallet, especially if the damn thing is unlocked. So if somebody come up to you asking to use your cell phone, and I don't know if y'all know this, but they also have a feature on cell phones where you can make it so you can give your phone to a person and the only thing they can use is the actual cell phone feature, not the actual any other feature on the phone. Isn't that interesting, sis? It's a line of bullshit. It's a line of BS. But I mean, literally, when I end this video, just do a search for use your social security card to pay your bills. And it is so many people out there who believe it. The comments are like, yo, you dropping gems. And I've went to some of these websites, like they'll say, hey, if you pay us $700, we'll send you the affidavit that you need to get your sovereign citizen license because you don't need a license to drive on the roads and highways of the United States. I mean, it's I mean, it's the craziest thing I've ever seen. But these people had hundreds of thousands of views. I mean, I clicked on the website. I clicked on the website and they're charging for all of this stuff. And it was one guy, it was a video, it said proof that you can pay your bills with the invoice receipt that they send you in your monthly statement. So I was like, oh shit, I gotta watch this because hey, I don't know, maybe they know something I don't know. Maybe my 13 plus years of practicing law are all for that. I don't know everything. I'm not a jack of all trades here. I'm a specialist. So he said this is proof. And on the thumbnail, it was like I think it was a credit card bill because it was a credit card bill to some credit union. I can't remember what credit union it was, but it was the statement, and he wrote all these laws in pencil pursuant to 15 USC. He even wrote some shit for the stamp. He didn't even put a stamp on it. He wrote down something for the stamp, and that was the thumbnail. So I'm looking like, man, did this actually work? And so he's talking around the bush. But then to go show proof that this actually worked, he had his statement that he showed or his receipt, and it said he made a payment of $75. But then when he pulls up the account to show that the $75 was credited, it looked a little suspect. I was like, it showed that it was a payment of $75 made, but it was a card number beside it, like card ending in 5608, which gives me cause to pause. Like, okay, if you paid that with a receipt, your payment wouldn't have had a card that payment was associated with. It would have been a payment through this BS form of a check. But it's crazy. Keep your head on the swivel. Everybody's out there trying to finesse. Don't let nobody use your phone if you think they can whip your ass or you think they can run faster than you. I think that's a general good rule of thumb. What's going on, Dimitri? I appreciate you tuning in, brother. But the general rule of thumb is put a lock on your stuff, combination. Don't ever give people your phone. And if you can't beat the person asking to borrow your phone or you don't think you're faster than them, Just tell them, nah, bro, I don't got no phone. I got some change you can use if you can find a payphone, which I don't think exists anymore. Well, I just wanted to talk with y'all about that story real quick. Please go Google. Please go Google. Use your social security card to pay your bills. Y'all gonna laugh at the cockamamie stuff y'all see. I might do that video on Friday, but I'm trying to find some really good footage. There's this one attorney out there who has a whole channel dedicated to sovereign citizen fails in court. So I'll probably use some of his content because he got some good videos out there that just show these people thinking their laws don't apply, getting ramrodded in court. It's just hilarious and crazy. I appreciate y'all tuning in. Y'all take care. Y'all have a blessed one. Be safe. Peace.